asking a question on mandate protection, we have to go to the next topic, which is election violence, because that is very important. Actually, there's a short report for that one. I want us to actually quickly take this report, then we'll come back and talk about election violence. Let's take that report. The history of elections in Nigeria since 1959 till date has largely been characterized by thuggery and violence, among other notable electoral vices. This development has continued unabated even in the 21st century. A case in point was the post-election violence in northern Nigeria after the 2011 presidential election, in which hundreds of lives were lost, thousands displaced, and invaluable property destroyed. While the 2015 election recorded remarkable improvement relative to 2011, rising expectations, frustration, aggression, and political economy approach towards power contestation and social economic deprivation in the larger population have mainly accounted for violence in Nigerian elections. With the 2023 general elections drawing closer, stakeholders have expressed concern about the state of insecurity across the country and the impact it could have on the 2023 election. In the last 7 years, the spate of insecurity across Nigeria has worsened, particularly in the northeast and the northwest, with many lives lost to kidnapping, Boko Haram, insurgency, and separatist movement. Nigerians are not sure who would be the next victim, while nowhere is safe for now. However, this has raised serious questions as to whether our desperate politicians have ever stopped, pondered, and assessed the threat posed by insecurity for their 2023 ambitions. It is quite disturbing that most of the aspirants do not have the blueprint on how to tackle the insecurity bedeviling the country. While the INEC and other stakeholders of election process in Nigeria continue to brainstorm on how to nurture a sustainable violence-free election process in Nigeria, deliberate steps must be taken to put structures and mechanisms in place to eliminate or reduce to its barest minimum the election insecurity. Following the recent violent assault on its INEC assets and staff, the electoral body has expressed concern, stating that there will be no result of polling unit. Risk assessment will be conducted to evaluate hazard and risks before the general election, and voters will not only be protected but also seen to be protected. In conclusion, we recommend good governance, persistent voter education, persecution of electoral offenders, enhanced institutional capacity of Independent National Electoral Commission INEC and other stakeholders, and strengthening of democratic institutions as prerequisites to sustainable violence-free elections in Nigeria. Note, elections can only be conducted in a peaceful and secure environment, else the country will go to polls with more corpses. This is no gainsaying the fact dead people do not vote. Elections are meant for the living. Prepare and prevent instead of repair and repent. Safety begins with teamwork. All right, welcome back. Yes, of course, you can still join us. Send your messages. We're waiting on you. Barrister, over to you.
Yes, I guess those of us who watched that clip now, you know that in this, election is about voting, not fighting. Election is a peaceful thing. It's not something that you kill, you maim, or you destroy. My own pain is that it's not only in Nigeria that we have elections. Elections are conducted in other countries of the world. Don't go with violence. Why do we have violence in Nigerian election? Why? Why? I hope after this topic, you that you are watching and listening to us, you have a second rethink that involving yourself in electoral activities, particularly on a voting day, should not come with violence. Fred?
Yes, it's very important that we eschew all forms, all manners, all shades of violence. Violence can be verbal, violence can be actual. Verbal violence usually comes from politicians and their supporters, and then which is called hate speech, all right, which has wreaked havoc in some countries that have paid lip service to controlling verbal violence. And then actual violence usually perpetrated by supporters of some politicians who themselves don't want their own children to get involved. I usually ask some people, if you know that electoral violence is good, that man or woman that you are supporting, that your principal that you want to break other people's head on his behalf, ask him to give you his daughter's hand in marriage. If you agree to give you his daughter's hand in marriage, having seen you as a thug, having given you guns and machetes to go and maim, kill others, will that same politician agree to be your father-in-law? That means he is only using you as a thug. He's only using you to kill other people, both physically and kill their ambition. He's only using you to gain undue advantage in a process that ordinarily should be peaceful. In most countries of the world, they don't even declare holiday during election days.
Yes.
You just go cast your vote and go move on with your business for the day.
Yes.
Then those who are engaged in electoral process will collect your result and announce the result, and everybody is peaceful. Congratulate the winner, and then the loser joins the winner in moving the country forward. That is what we want for Nigeria, especially as we approach 2023 election. Especially now that our system seems to be improving. Technology is helping Nigeria. Yes, we cannot lay claim to contributing much in inventions, technological inventions in this country.
Fred.
But at least we can lay claims to using such inventions to advance the cause of humanity.
Good. Are using inventions to advance the cause of humanity. Violence, has it advanced the cause of humanity?
Violence is not an invention.
Please, can you speak to our people?
Violence is not an invention. Violence...
Because investments are wasted as a result of one little flame.
The largest investment that one can have in a country is human capital.
Yes.
Why would we waste our people just because we want Mr. A or Madam B to be there? Does it make sense?
No.
It doesn't make sense in any way, manner, or form. And that is why anybody who is involved in electoral violence is seen as being subhuman.
Please, can we, the Electoral Act just makes it an offense of a fine of just 500,000 naira, whereas colossal sums of money.
Yeah, there is an imprisonment attached to it.
Imprisonment, you know, in Nigeria, as a practicing lawyer, that they won't go. Where I'm going is that part of the advocacy, can there be some elements of advocacy? You see, as we approach the 2023 election, it can still be done, that we put some serious electoral offense attached to it to deter.
Yes, I think the major problem, the major issue will now be, how do we think more of deterrence than punishment.
Both.
Because yes, both is fine, but more of deterrence. No amount of punishment
can bring back
a lost life.
Yes.
In some cases, like you said, if the punishment is a fine of 500,000 and the violent person has caused colossal damage running into billions. So you see that the fine is nothing compared to.
Let me just draw your example.
Compared to the loss.
The buses that we have bought, let's take Lagos. Those beautiful, fine buses, modern buses
that we have bought.
They just went, just with the strike of a fire.
Of a match.
Of a match. Then, just like that.
Like that.
The other day I was reading that a young one person just arrested.
Just one person.
At the end of the day, he will go to jail for 7 years or 14 years. What is the benefit to us, the people?
Exactly. So that is why every measure that will be put in place to forestall, to dissuade, to discourage violence should be put in place. Every measure should be put in place. And I'm happy with this advocacy.
Yes.
And then parents, look, the goodness of any society starts and ends in a home. For any society to be good, the home must be good.
Yes.
And how do you make the home good? Parents must be responsible. They must be able to tell their children what is right and what is wrong.
But let's not forget that most of those people that act violent and those thugs, actually, most of them are not staying with their parents. Probably they don't even know where their parents are.
Well,
so how would they be able to
the Bible
do
says, the Holy Book says, teach a child the way he should go. And when he grows up
from heaven.
And when he grows up, he will not depart from it. If a parent had done his or her work, teaching the child the way he should grow, even without the parents being available, the child will know that this is right and this is wrong. The rest of the things will be the ones they add on by the society. The laws are only there to assist the families. The number one place where people are nurtured and molded is in the family. So parents should be responsible enough to teach their children the way they should go. So that even when they are not there, the children will not depart from the teachings of the parents.
Okay, we'll continue with election violence. When we come back, let's go for a short break, and we'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. All right, welcome back. Of course, thanks for joining us again. This Still Voters Forum. Yes, I have some messages here from our viewers, and of course, from online too. This is a long read. This one says, one thing I discovered is one of the things, most of these leaders didn't see themselves as, most of our leaders don't see themselves as servants, and that's where the problem is. Most of the battle we're fighting, which we think is from lineage, dying in prayer house, is not all about leadership. This time around, what we need is good leaders, and it is left to us to choose the right leader. It's not about ethnicity, but by God-fearing person who have the people in mind, and of course put the people first. This is from Pastor Timothy Kolade from Ogijo. Another one says, hi Barrister Wale, that's you. So what is the update on the alleged vote buyers arrest in Akita State election? This is Charles from Lagos. Can you quickly
They are still working on it. They are investigating. You know, it's police matter, and it will take some time. They will say they are investigating and so.
Exactly.
But we are on it.
And I think his question is coming because of the punishment. We're talking about the punishment and all of that.
Yes,
okay. Another one says, this is from Professor Charles in Lagos. Says, good afternoon. Does democracy develop in a society where there is a high level of poverty, unemployment, illiteracy? If yes, how?
Well, you see, this thing, I think. Oh, sorry.
well, democracy can develop in such environment. After all, number one and critical cardinal thing of democracy is freedom.
Yes.
Okay.
The number one thing is freedom, and then a free mind can do exploits. That is a beautiful thing. A mind that is gagged, a person that is gagged, has limited opportunities to do exploits. So we must understand that. And yes, there is poverty, there is hunger. But this can also be solved with democracy.
Yes.
What is important is elect credible people. Give them
fear of God.
Give the mandate
to people
who will not abuse your mandate and protect your mandate.
That answers it.
True.
That answers it.
Yes.
Okay.
If you give your mandate to people who will not abuse
your mandate,
who will go there and do the essence of that mandate,
you see that all the
there will be hunger in the land.
All the challenges will go.
There will be job employment, and all the things that you are saying. They will be developed.
Absolutely.
I mean, instead of now the money that is used for the project is now siphoned.
It's now siphoned now because they are not serving the people.
Okay. All right. If I may ask, like we're still we're talking about those ones who you said their parents, if they don't have their parents, based on Togri. Now, if indeed, let's assume even the parents themselves didn't have that education, that home bringing, that nurture, mother, father guideline and everything, and they actually just give birth to their child and allow the child to, go and hustle and breed. Now, I'm saying, what is actually the solution to this? Because most of these people that actually partake in this Togri are basically mostly illiterate.
There are two ways to find solution to challenges. You deploy what we call the carrot and the stick approach. The carrot approach is to encourage someone to do what is right. The stick approach is to chastise and sanction and punish someone who does what is wrong. What the society needs to do is to ensure that we uphold the carrot and stick approach very seriously, and not a situation where we support, or rather we try to reinforce what is right. When somebody does what is right and he's not punished, another person will latch in on that.
Does what is wrong.
Does what is wrong and is not punished. Another person will latch in on that and do what is wrong. But when our punishment mechanism is strong, and then our reward mechanism is also
very strong,
then you have the right way, you have the wrong way. The choice is yours.
To confirm what you have said, everyone knows what is good. Even these illiterates.
Nature makes it so.
There is a Yoruba adage that says your child is not a washerman.
Of course.
And is bringing clothes home.
Then
definitely you know that
something is wrong somewhere. Something is wrong somewhere.
Very true. Okay, please stop calling in. You can only send a message to us. And of course, yes, we'll be taking our voters forum for next week, what we'll be talking about next week. But let me quickly read this message before we take what we have for next week. This one says, if I may ask, sir, do we have leaders or rulers? This is Uche Gideon Okora Ford.
I think it's a matter of semantics and a matter of conviction. We should have leaders because we surrender our collective mandate. Rulers don't ask for your mandate. They force their authority on you.
And themselves.
So they force themselves on you, they force the authority on you, and they compel you and whip you to obey and whip you into line. And that's the difference between democracy and other forms of government like autocracy or military rule. In democracy, we decide the leaders themselves. And then once you have decided, once you are giving your mandate, then they are leaders. So I can say that we have leaders. Yes, we may have bad leaders and good ones, that we should edge towards good ones and avoid the bad ones. But in Nigeria, as of today, going by the democracy that we practice, we should have leaders and not rulers.
Okay, Uche Gideon, I hope that answers your question. We have leaders. Probably we have more of the bad than the good, but we have leaders and not rulers. And believe you me, you don't even want to have a ruler in Nigeria with the state of things right now. Okay, let's take what we have for next week on Voters Forum, and we'll be right back to round up the show. All right, welcome back. This one, let me just quickly read a message from Daniel Nsika. It says, I have to highly recommend you all for this novel program. And of course, this will add credibility to Nigeria elections. And it says, we need a violence-free and fair election. However, we all, especially our leaders from their diverse affiliation, to take responsibility. Thank you very much, Daniel, for that one. Okay, I'll have to, tell you this has been an amazing one, of course, being with you, talking about mandate protection. To be honest, I understood what mandate protection was, but you gave a more thorough and in-depth education about mandate protection and, of course, election violence, yes. But to wrap up this show, I would like to ask, when it comes to election violence, what would you have to say to everyone out there, especially the youth? There
are three principal people that are involved in election. One, the electors themselves. They are the cardinal people. They are the numero uno in the process of election. The electors themselves, you have the electoral umpires, and you have the security agencies. Usually the electoral umpires do not cause violence. They can only create circumstances that can lead to violence, and they will be called out at the end of the day. The security agencies are supposed to ensure that there's no violence by their actions, by not taking any side, and by ensuring that people are protected when they come out to vote. The bulk of the problem comes from the electorates themselves. And then the electorate themselves, who are the ones that give out that mandate, they are the ones that should eschew violence, ensure that nobody is hurt, nobody is injured, nobody is wounded, nothing is destroyed, because elections should be all about decision. When they understand that they are employing people, I cannot be hurting myself trying to employ one to come and serve me. It does not add up. All right? I mean, somebody has come to market himself, employ me to go and do this work for you, and then you, in the process, you hurt yourself. It does not add up. So the people who are giving their mandate must ensure that they do not cause violence in any way, manner, or form. The society itself, represented by the government, should ensure that anybody who gets involved in violent act during an election is punished as a deterrent to others.
Thank you very much for that one. That was a good wrap-up.
Yes.
Barrister, you have one or two things
to say
before we go?
What can I say? I'm happy you have come and you have just scattered the whole thing. This is you deserve me before. You butchered the thing very well. In fact, my sister was telling me this is a technical thing, too tough for her. I said she's doing well. The person that will come in our guest today is someone that is going to make you understand everything. You saw now that she's even the one asking all the questions because she's flowing.
Thank you, whatever the compliment.
I really want to thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much for
coming. I want to thank you for sharing your and allowing us to drink from your vast experience.
Thank you.
People at home.
And I want to thank you too for this program. It's a novel one.
To God be the glory.
Thank you.
Keep the flag flying.
To God be the glory.
Thank you,
so people at home, next week, we have something important for you. What we want to work with is the Electoral Act. We want to dissect it. We want to begin to look at it. Just as Fred has laid the foundation for us, we'll now pick one area of the Electoral Act and begin to butcher it again so that you understand. It is not about grammar. We want you to understand so that you'll be able to use it to move our democracy forward. From Wale Ogwade, from me, Wale Ogwade, who is the host of this program, and
of course, from Blossom, thank you so much for joining us. I must say it again, thank you so much for coming on the show too. Thank you so much, Frederick. And of course, yes, it's been an amazing work with you. Thank you for joining us and your messages. I'm sorry I couldn't read all. And of course, we'll be seeing you next week.